All right, I think we're live. So what's up, guys? It's Paul, Military History Gear Review. Today, kind of wanted to experiment with this YouTube live streaming feature. Never tried it before, so this is my first time. And hopefully some of you guys are around for lunch and can pop in while we experiment with this. This is Menu 23 Chicken Pesto Pasta. Now, this was packed in 2016, so it's almost 4 years old now. But it says it was inspected last in October of 2019, so it should be good until February of 2022. So it should be safe to eat. But this MRE is, way after I, left active duty. So, and I never saw this menu, Chicken Pesto Pasta. But it sounds good. I love chicken. I love any chicken, pesto, and pasta. So, how bad can it be in MRE form, right? It's going to be great. There's no way. Never heard of a bad MRE. So let's crack this bad boy open. All right, so it's got the peelable seal, right? And of course, classic MRE fashion, a bag within a bag. Because of course it does. All right. Okay, so what's it got? Beverage bag. Got the little, you can see it's got the ounce marks measured out, which is actually pretty useful. Of course, an FRH, one MRE spoon. Oh, cheese spread. Okay, all right. I'm already liking the direction this is headed. A large orange beverage powder. Okay, cool. Let's see. Wheat snack bread. Okay, we're gonna set that with the cheese. Your standard drink mix, sugar, coffee, gum, toilet paper, matches, all that standard stuff. What do we have here? Oh, a cinnamon bun. Oh my God, I've never had these. These didn't exist when I was in the Army. 320 calories. Yeah, oh my God. I love cinnamon buns though. Love them. My grandmother used to, she still does, home make it. Oh, and a chocolate chip cookie. Damn, this is so unhealthy already. I love our sleeve and our chicken pesto. Wow, okay, interesting. This is really carbohydrate heavy. Literally a cinnamon bun, chocolate chip cookie, bread, cheese, carbohydrate beverage powder, and pasta. Pasta in basil pesto sauce. Okay, it also has here just military rations are good performance meals. Okay, fair enough, probably true. And you should eat, and not eating is bad. Literally, that's the message here. Like, if you get hungry, you'll have loss of strength, decreased endurance, loss of motivation, decreased mental alertness. This is crazy that like the Army was like, hey, we should tell soldiers what being hungry is. Like, what? Do they really think soldiers like have never been hungry before? I mean, maybe you're like an 18-year-old recruit and you grew up in mom's, in the basement playing video games, and you were just like, when you get hungry, you eat Cheetos. I don't know. Well, regardless, it does tell you you need 3 meals per day. False. Intermittent fasting says you can do just one big meal is just fine. MRE is 1,200 to 1,300 calories. And in the field, you need 2,800 to 3,600 calories for males and 2,000 to 2,800 for females. Okay, this is interesting. All right, so I've got my big old Nalgene here. So let's see if we can actually like follow the directions, which is also something I never did when I was on active duty. Heating up the MREs was like a waste of time, right? It was just like, why even try to redeem these things? Okay. Okay, so you're supposed to do the beverage powder in this. Okay. Place beverage bag. Oh, this is to heat up like a hot beverage bag. This is for like your coffee. Okay, so I'm going to try to do as much of this like by the book as possible, right? To try to understand like how these are engineered to work. But for the sake, when I'm finished with this, I'm going to do the coffee in here at the end of the meal. But we're going to do the beverage powder. We won't actually mix it in this. We'll mix it in this glass here. But I'm going to measure out the water in this, right? There is a system. Can I figure out the system? That's always the challenge, right? All right, but the first thing we got to do is heat up our chicken pesto pasta. Okay, you can see so they didn't even have these sleeves when I was, again, on active duty. So you heat this up, you set it with the pasta, and you slide both into the sleeve. And then you, of course, put it against a rock or something. Very cool. All right. Do I have a rock or something? Well, I have this random pile of my wife's hat and a knee brace. So that's something. Those are two somethings, actually. All right. All right. I think there's a fill line. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah. Okay, it says do not overfill, but I have already overfilled it. So I'm off to a great start. You can see there's do not overfill, and then the line of the water, if you can see it, is right there. So, you know, really killing it so far. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up and make sure we get the water all contacting the magnesium. So the FRH is actually magnesium strips, which, you know, can be pretty dangerous. I mean, I don't think they give off any harmful gases indoors. I mean, I don't have any windows open, right? Because I live sort of next to a highway, and people love to race their bikes up and down the highway. So many times, as you've probably heard during my videos, you can hear somebody racing in their car that, you know, they've removed the muffler on because that makes their car go faster. But yeah, they're just like, you know, doing whatever, doing their thing. Okay. And it disrupts the stream, right? So I have to close all the windows so that you guys can actually hear what I'm saying. All right, let's give this a shot. So we have carbohydrate orange beverage powder. You know, when you call it carbohydrate beverage powder, it doesn't sound as bad as sugar with orange flavor, right? So let's see. Okay, so it looks kind of clumpy and orangey. I don't know if you guys can see it, but we'll definitely see it as I pour it into this. All right. All right, so this looks like orange beach sand, pretty much. Yeah, very bright orange. You know, I'm always sort of puzzled. Like, this orange is clearly artificially added, right? Like, this isn't the color of like an actual orange. You know, it's sort of got that weird neon vibe to it. So why do they add it? Like, it stains things. It stains your uniform. In the case of stuff that's like blue, it'll stain your tongue and lips. It's just kind of janky. And it's like, why not just have it be like a white powder that tastes like orange? I mean, that's what I'm here for. I'm not here to see something orange. I'm here to drink orange flavored powder. Okay, all right, sugar, dextrose, citric acid. Right, nothing in here is orange the thing. Sugar, dextrose, citric acid, natural and artificial flavor, salt, monopotassium phosphate, sodium citrate, yellow 6 lake. Yeah, yeah. Okay. 12 ounces. All right. 12 ounces tells you even half a canteen cup. All right. So we know from this baggie that 12 ounces is that fill line right there. So let's see. And of course, you know, my Nalgene has written out ounces, you know, measurements as well. But you know, your canteen cup doesn't. So you know, if I was having to pull an arm, you know, if I was in the field, oh, perfect, perfect. There you go. 12 ounces exactly. Yeah, if I was in the field, this is how I would have to measure it out. Again, if I was really in the field, would I be like, oh, measure out 12 ounces for your orange juice? No, of course not. I'm gonna eyeball it, you know. We're gonna save this bag. It's gonna be our coffee, actually. Let's see, Paul. Planning is important. Planning is important. So how much? All right, creamer, sugar, a towelette. Here we go. Genial instant coffee. Fair enough. 1.5 grams into a cup. Add hot water. Okay, so I can get as much or as little coffee as I feel like. Okay, so what do I feel like? I feel like okay, it's between an espresso and a regular cup of coffee amount. So let's see. Oh yeah, I can feel this. This is already heating up. So we are just going to not spill our coffee everywhere. So see, we're going to just stack everything together and try our best to squeeze it all in there without, you know, causing it to like burst or explode or whatever. Okay, all right, very cool. I'm also going to use this toilet paper to wipe up the fact that I spilled some water on my plate. Yeah, that's a pretty classic. That's a classic me move. That's not even an MRE. I can't even blame the MRE. You know, I'm like a child. I make a mess at fancy restaurants. I make a mess at nice, you know, trashy restaurants. I just can't eat neatly. I don't know. Sometimes I think a certain percentage of us just never really evolved to that level of sophistication. Unless they're just brutes by nature. All right. Moving on. Stir up this orange beverage powder. Okay, so this is like room temperature water that I'm using. Yeah, this is like room temperature water that I've got here. So I'm really, you know, let's see, how well is this dissolving? The answer is not that well. The particles, I don't know if you can see it, they're still sort of like in suspension, you know? Wow, that is really sweet. Really sweet. I mean, I understand why it's really sweet, one, because, you know, I guess Gatorade and all those other like commercial drinks are really sweet. I don't really drink them that much. I think they taste syrupy to me. And I suppose, again, if I was eyeballing it, I would just add more water to this mix. But yeah, this is really sweet. And again, I get it. Like they gotta just sugar, powdered sugar or granulated sugar is a great source of calories. You know, when we were backpacking, I mean, when we go backpacking, we rely a ton on that, right? It's adds calories to your oatmeal. It adds calories to all your like nutritional Cliff bars. It adds calories to almost everything. And it never goes bad because it's granulated. It's not going to expire or rot. It's already dry. It's lightweight. I mean, it's really effective. It's just not great for us. But yeah, you can kind of taste the aftertaste of those like electrolytes. You know, it's got that weird, not quite salty, like a potassium-y, like a blend between like salty and like a little like chemically, like almost like it's treated water. That's only a hint of an aftertaste. It's really not that bad in the grand scheme of things. And it's pretty good. It's no better or worse than powdered Gatorade, honestly. You know, if you told me this was commercial Gatorade powder you picked up at the supermarket, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds right. Okay, see, it looks like it all dissolved. There's not like a bunch of salt sitting at the bottom, or sugar. But again, if I was eating this or drinking this out of the beverage bag, I wouldn't care, you know. All right, so next up, we're gonna do the white wheat snack bread. White wheat snack bread. Normally those things don't go together. You either have white bread or you have wheat bread. I mean, it's a little bent. Does it have an oxygen absorber? Oh yeah, there's an oxygen absorber in there. What's it got? Okay, it's got a lot of carbohydrates again, 200 calories right here. But of course, we're gonna power this up with some cheese spread. The cheese spread's great. I think you're crazy if you don't love the cheese spread, but that's me. Honestly though, the peanut butter is the best, in my opinion, by far. Peanut butter is number one. And then a distant second is jalapeno cheese spread, right? Getting that spicy kick. And then, you know, regular cheese spread comes in third. But again, it's still pretty good, you know, and it's the only non-carbohydrate thing that isn't the main, and the coffee, right? So, and it's 180 calories. So this is 400 calories between this and if I can somehow fit this entire cheese packet onto this bread. But as you can see, I mean, there's also just like a tremendous number of like random other crap on here. You know, less than 2% of the following. I mean, it's a paragraph and a half of ingredients. But one thing I will say, I mean, this is, you know, this is not good. This is not like good cheese. It tastes exactly like Cheese Whiz, actually. Exactly like Cheese Whiz. And maybe this and Cheese Whiz are like the same thing, you know. But yeah, no part of this looks like real cheese, despite the fact that, you know, the Army has no reason to lie, and it says it's real cheese in here. Plus a bunch of other stuff to make it shelf stable. But yeah, I don't know, man. It doesn't look appealing. It's got that fake cheese flavor, but it's really strong. It's like, well, it's Cheese Whiz. It's got a big punch, salty and cheesy, but again, in that like really, not even like American cheese. The way American cheese is like really processed, but it's got kind of a neutral flavor. This has just like, this is trying to compensate for the fact that it's being eaten on a white wheat bread, which tastes like nothing, you know? Dude, this is so salty. So salty. I can't begin to tell you how salty it is. And what's the salt content to this? %24% of your daily value of sodium, right there. Sorry, you know, I hope I'm live. I keep getting error messages that my connection's unstable. I think so. Anyway, okay. I haven't gotten a quarter of my daily value of sodium, which, you know, thankfully I didn't eat breakfast, you know, otherwise I'd be in trouble. I guess next up should be the cinnamon bun. The cinnamon bun seems like a breakfast food, you know, like, but let's see how this looks. Okay, all right. But again, carb heavy, 320 calories. First ingredient's the same, enriched wheat flour. And see, so it feels kind of like sticky, which I know you're like, Paul, that's how cinnamon buns are. Fair enough. But let's try this out. All right, got this here. Yeah, kind of soft, kind of sticky. Let's see how cinnamon bun like it is. It's pretty good. So I don't know if you can see it in there, between the layers of bread, there is actually a small cinnamon sugar filling, like a thin layer. But it's actually like permeated into the bread itself, so it's got that like nice, soft, squishy kind of vibe. Oh. Yeah, this is not bad. I mean, it's really stretchy though. I mean, this is a lot of flexibility for a, you know, cinnamon bun. But the taste is pretty good. The taste, it has a pretty authentic cinnamon vibe, like taste and texture. Yeah, the taste and texture really captures the cinnamon bun, you know. I mean, I'm a fan of icing. I think a cinnamon bun without icing is like a you know, day without sunshine. But this does a pretty good job of being an icing-free cinnamon bun. And icing in an MRE would be a total train wreck. People would get it on their hands. Everything would be sticky, right? It would just not go well. But in the video where I tried the like curry something MRE, right? The one where it rained and I was like raining in like the creepy woods. That they had condensed milk in a packet, just like the cheese packet. And I remember I had some and I was trying to save some for my coffee because that's what I thought it was for. And then I spilled my coffee and it was like the worst thing that ever happened. Though it's possible. It's possible to have a frosting like substance in an MRE. So I kind of want to try to save this chocolate chip cookie for dessert, but the my like hot beverage, my coffee water that I'm trying to heat up is like only sort of heating up effectively. It's not like in contact enough, I think, with the heated part of the MRE flameless ration heater. So let's try this cookie real quick, and then we'll fire up the chicken pesto pasta. And then by the time we're done with pasta, we should have nice piping hot water for our coffee, right? Okay, so this is the chocolate chip cookie, and as you can see, it's already pretty much crumbled apart. It looks like every chocolate chip cookie you've ever bought, like that, those like Entenmann's like pre-packaged chocolate chip cookies. Once again, totally carbohydrates, devoid of any protein. I think there's 3 grams. That's probably like some powdered egg in there. Yeah, wheat flour, thiamine, mononitrate, sugar. Yeah, okay. Wheat flour, sugar, palm oil, semi-sweet chocolate, water, and 2% of the following: eggs, molasses, natural and artificial flavor, etc., etc. Interesting. I don't see a dehydrator packet in here, which is sort of interesting, I guess. All right, well, let's try this cookie here. We'll let you guys take a good look at that. Okay. I mean, it looks like a chocolate chip cookie. So this is dry, crumbly, extremely crumbly, actually. Yeah, the chocolate chips have a weird vibe. Like, yeah, they're semi-sweet chocolate chips for sure, but something has made them shelf stable somehow. That's just like not quite right. Let's see. Usually they have the sub ingredients in here: sugar, chocolate, cocoa butter, milk fat, soy, lichen, vanillin, artificial flavor, milk. Okay, so maybe it's that soy product that's giving them like kind of the weird vibe, but maybe regular semi-sweet chocolate chips have that too. I mean, the ratio of chocolate to chip is actually really good. Like you can see, this is a lot of chocolate chips in this cookie. Like, I know they got to work hard to keep MREs. I mean, it's not easy, right? An MRE has to weigh, I want to say it's like under like 1.6 pounds or something. Let's see. Maybe it says so. It says what it needs to weigh. No, but I know there's a weight requirement and a caloric requirement. So like, again, that's a really tough nut to crack, and it has to be sort of nutritionally complete, you know? It has to provide the warfighter with like electrolytes. And I mean, imagine if you're designing an MRE for like the desert, right, where people are gonna be sweating all the time. So like in our day-to-day lives, we need to avoid salt. But if you are working really hard and sweating a lot, you actually need to replenish your salts. We used to, when I was in Afghanistan, our platoon would do these base defense shifts for like 12 hours in a tower, in full kit. And after people cycled off, they were so dehydrated, we would be like, drink water throughout your shift, but at the end, just see the medic and get stuck with an IV. And people would take 3 or 4 bags of IV because those saline solutions contain a perfect balance of electrolytes and fluids. They're the best and fastest way to rehydrate. And at this time we were shorthanded, so we were doing these like 12-hour shifts, and it was just like, it was crazy. It was really wild. To my soldiers' credit for putting up with it. But yeah, the need for electrolytes is different than like in our day-to-day lives, where like, okay, a lot of salt, a lot of sugar is not a great call, but still, this has been a lot of sugar. Yeah, my normal lunch, I would never have this much sugar. This is wild. Okay, look at how many crumbs this cookie left. And again, like as an outdoorsman, right? Making a mess is like a thing that I really, really want to avoid, right? Because it leaves no trace, and like food attracts bears and other critters, especially on the Northeast, but almost everywhere that's fun to camp in this country, there's at least a black bear risk. So like food this messy, it would be really a pain to bring out. But also like U.S. Military bases are also in like the woods, in areas that are also like have bears. So why would you make them so messy? Or like needlessly messy? Again, like the cinnamon bun didn't have a crumb at all, and this cookie is just like a huge mess, right? So, okay, I'm gonna quick brush off these crumbs so that we can put the pesto pasta on the plate so you guys can see what exactly it looks like. Otherwise, it's just me spooning things out of a bag. All right, so I'll be right back. Okay, let's dust it off. Let's see, let's feel this out. How's this feeling? Okay, the FRH is warm. The top part of the FRH is warm anyway. Let's see. I have a bad feeling that this pesto pasta is like going to be cool on top and like very warm in the bottom. Which yeah, that's exactly what that feels like right now. But we'll massage it a little bit and try to get it to be a uniform, lukewarm temperature that, that thing that we all just like, every warfighter wants, just a lukewarm, mediocre meal after a hard day of warfighting. Whatever you're doing in the Army, if you have to eat MREs, it sucks, right? I used to, see, here's the thing. Normally, like Steve 1989 and those other MRE YouTubers, they bring their own knives, and I think something's lost when you don't like use the MRE as it's designed to be utilized, because like the fact that it's a pain to get open is like a non-trivial thing, nobody wants to deal with that. Oh wow, this looks like real pesto. Oh my god, I'm like shocked at how real this looks. I mean, it probably is real, but look, it's got like green, it's got the little flecks of basil. It's even got like actual swirl pasta. I think these are like maybe black beans. Yeah, man, I am like impressed. Yeah, little bites of chicken. Okay, this is way better than a lot of the MREs that are just like tasteless red mush. The fact that this has just like some textural variety is actually pretty outstanding. But let's see. Okay, my prediction was correct. This is indeed totally lukewarm. But the chicken tastes like chicken. It's a little rubbery, right? But the pesto tastes like real pesto. You know, it's kind of got that little bit of like plasticky flavor. Like I think some like BPAs or something from the bag definitely bled into it. But you know, after 4 years in a bag, what do you expect? Okay, that bite was just cold. Is this like my punishment for overfilling the bag? Maybe because I overfilled it, it like burned itself out and didn't fully heat up. Maybe you just need like a little bit of water to like jumpstart a reaction with the magnesium in the air, like the water in the air somehow. Or maybe this is just a function, 4 years old, the FRH components are going to oxidize. They're just not going to burn as hot as they otherwise would. Okay, so texturally, this is like on the MRE scale, like an 8 out of 10, right? Variety of textures. The chicken is chickeny and meaty. The pesto really tastes like pesto. It's even got like, it's not runny at all, which also is great because, you know, runny sauces are also like very messy. The pasta is good. The flavor is like a 6. You know, it's no doubt chicken pesto pasta, but it really has this like BPA kind of chemically flavor to it. It's just kind of hard to get into, you know. Oh, here's the nutrition facts for the pasta itself. Okay. So this has 20 grams of carbs. The primary ingredients are water, seasoned chicken strips, enriched pasta, egg whites, niacin, ferrous sulfate. I bet that's the weird taste. Thiamine mononitrate, olive oil, Parmesan cheese, garlic. Sun-dried contains less than 2%. Sun-dried tomatoes, sugar, modified food starch, walnuts, basil. Yeah, that actually describes about what I'm experiencing. Like sulfites beating out basil or tomatoes or anything else by like an order of magnitude. But again, this is not bad. But man, the uneven heating is like kind of a real disappointment, you know? Because some bites are really cold, some are warm. And like I think that's a function of the texture, right? Because if it's like a uniform like paste, right? Which is what a lot of them look like, then it's going to be easy. It might even circulate a little bit in the bag. You know, the way that hot water will rise up and cool water will fill in the bottom, and that's why you get a rolling boil on your stove. But because this is so well textured, I think the bottom stayed on the bottom and warmed up, and the top stayed on the top and stayed cold. You can taste the Parmesan. I'll give it that. All right. All right, so that's the last of our, almost the last of our caloric stuff. Again, they gave us salt. Can you imagine me salting any of this? Like, how salty was that? Let's see. Let's see. That was 30 grams of protein in there, which is impressive. Sodium, 30% of your daily value, 730 milligrams. Again, I feel for the Army, right? They got to design an MRE for all seasons, right? It's got to work in Arctic training. It's got to work in desert training. It's got to work in the jungle. And yeah, if you're sweating, you need more. But that was just like 40% of my daily value between the in the chicken pesto, I mean, the electrolyte beverage powder, the cheese, that's a ton of sodium, man. That's a ton. Okay. Again, normally I drink my coffee out of a mug like a civilized adult, but so you guys can see, we're gonna do it in this clear mug. So our genial genial café genial. You know, I had a mentor of mine in the Army. He told me once, he's like, Paul, you should always go for the finest possible when it comes to socks and coffee. And you know, I agree with him on socks. I've never spent money on socks and regretted it. More money, always worth it on socks, as far as I can tell without limit. But coffee, I can drink anything, right? You water it down a little bit so it loses that like acrid, oxidized taste, and anything becomes tolerable, right? So you can see that's some really finely ground instant coffee. And truthfully, I don't mind instant coffee. There's our sugar, and of course, non-dairy creamer. Again, non-dairy creamer is one of those things that a lot of people hate, like really, really, really hate using non-dairy creamer. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I mean, so yeah, you can see I put it in my like crazy mochaccino stuff that I take backpacking, and I have no complaints. I love that, especially in the morning, dude. Whew. Like I'm sure you guys saw my video where I was camping in that Lahu hat and heating up that like piping hot coffee by the fire when it was like coffee and just you know, a quarter cup of hot chocolate mix. Dude, that made my morning. I was so like just cold and miserable. Just firing up that hot chocolate was just like, oh, it was to die for. So moral of the story is don't hate on non-dairy creamer. Anyway, this water seems, again, not quite lukewarm. Like it seems like genuinely warm water. And definitely warm water that I could have stood to have maybe heated up more of, but literally I was like 10 ounces of water and it got to like moderately warm. Like this was like cool, like bath water, you know? So again, I think maybe we just asked too much out of a 4-year-old FRH. And you can see this stuff is dissolving away pretty good. So maybe this is just right. Yeah, I wonder how I would fare if I had to drink everything out of the same canteen cup. Like I'd have to use this moist towelette to wash off my canteen cup well, no, because I have the beverage bag. Right. Okay, the beverage bag would make it okay. And then I guess I would do the coffee in my canteen cup, but again, that seems like a recipe for disaster. Maybe I would just do the coffee in the same bag as the orange drink, or maybe I would pour the water in the orange drink and shake it up and just drink it out of the packet, like in one go and not reseal it. Yeah, I think that's what I would do. I'd drink the orange drink out of the packet, and then I would make the coffee in the drink bag. Anyway, here it is. We'll give you a close up. It looks, you know, it looks like Dunkin' Donuts coffee. You know, is it gonna be as good? Let's find out. No, it's not. But it's pretty. It's coffee, man. It's coffee with cream and sugar. Again, I'm not a coffee foo-foo person. There's not much of a bite to it, which is good. I mean, that beats Starbucks. Starbucks coffee is all burnt to heck. It's lukewarm. It's like warm. It's like you've gotten fresh coffee and then you carried it like all the way to the metro and rode it for 3 stops, and then you started drinking it when you got to work. That's about where it's at. I'm someone who really derives a lot of action from like hot coffee. So lukewarm coffee to me, first kind. I don't even drink iced coffee, even in the summer. I just won't touch it. You can't trust it, you know? And plus, like, you want your coffee to be hot so that you sort of self-regulate. Like, if I have cool coffee, I can drink. I mean, I can chug the thing, you know? Especially if it's got cream and sugar, it just tastes like another sugary drink. You can really just put it down, and then you're out of coffee. But hot coffee, especially like hot black coffee, you have to sip. You have to kind of savor it, you know? But again, in the field, if you're eating an MRE for lunch or whatever, there's no savoring. You know what I mean? You don't have to savor your coffee. I used to just do the Ranger dip, which is where you take, let's see if I have it. You take your, take like a roll of this toilet paper and you roll it up and you put your coffee inside in like a little pouch. And then you like put it in as a dip and it slowly like liquidates in your saliva and sort of gives you like a feed of caffeine steadily throughout the day without having to remix it. Yeah, it's not good. it's not a preferred method. All right. And see, cream and sugar, you can just put it away. Okay, I'll finish up the last little bit later. I don't need to pound a whole 1.5 ounces or 1.5 grams of coffee. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know I didn't give anyone any notice that this live stream was happening. This is primarily because I wanted to experiment with what it's like to do a live stream and how that goes and make sure my machine could handle it and do some technical stuff. So, if you're watching this though, it's probably after the fact, and it means it worked, which is awesome. I definitely would like to do this in the future, especially if you guys know any rations that you would like to see me kind of work my way through. Nice thing is in the live stream, you guys can join, ping in, ask questions, I can answer. Happy to tell most of my war stories if you're curious. Yeah, so I'll try to give you guys notice next time I do this. It'll probably be in like 2 weeks, yeah, please remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I've got some awesome reviews coming up, and they should be a lot of fun and really exciting. It's winter, so it's cold weather gear season, and we are going to have some awesome stuff. So thanks again for joining me. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys on the trail.